is centering around the Irish language teaching plan. And I'm delighted to say that joining us now is Tricia and Chearra. Hello, Tricia.
Hello, Commissary. Thank you very much, folks. Yes, my name's Tricia and I'm the Oifigeach Gaeilge here with Ulster GAA. We're going to begin today with a video with some of our Donegal members highlighting the responsibility that the GAA has to Gaeilge, agus to Pobl na Gaeilge as well.
Chiad cyfni togam leis homan lwys yn clien o chartnysig trenal. Siansin ar mae her gymryd ffôn yn siansin ni o ma la dog hafa quick shares the gyfniwm siasis ti cwlna lyn y gasri bag alys. Just cacan na lihraji rash maig na lads is in damsin in the lihraji tashiach go herds ni o ma jag bug yn dam.
Yeah, tan chomol o'ch lasgail mor a te na han siantir harfa tewachta a budger Nis tewachtaí hála tre a gceantra a Gaeltarte tá muid ingin seo nniu an gídór a má chuman héin cumla le scéal ní morin a bhla bháda seo tan chuman inta tewachta leis ceantar le chiile agus beidir níos móna beidir an fel na an omaint na pel na man agus mar sin dé a an pobl a chruhuíonn seo fásta.
Marm goléirethe an más ceart a gcónaí an teangaí go héirithe pléile cumaine tá lonnaí sa Gaeltart nó imráí tá geirín Gaeilge a chur an cin go naithe sin agus go dóirí airdain agus deis mar sin cin na heimimena agus na féimena a bhíle sin chuman na a choú na clí Gaeilge ar bun in chead le rio agus bethúir fád bhfuil buntir bígan le bheitcréalú faoin na clí Gaeilge nó a nimmert nó a gurthain cin ar bhela bí ag struchttar Chlub na cumain a bheith chur na Gaeilge an cin agus.
Yeah, well, it's a críal airna na han rud a nímsin níomhain ma héin a han níos a fára seo tín tú go le pel as a cultúr sa teangaí go léidir seo fára sí go agus caiimiid sin chuine gáil agus tá sin tá tewata go mbeadh sé an chead glúneile.
Tá pobl sa Gaeilge tá neart sa Gaeilge.
As you see there, folks, from our Donegal members, it's very important within this role particularly that we sort of visualize that you have to publish and sort of market Irish in a way as well that shows it to the masses, it shows everybody how intrinsically linked the GAA and the Irish language are. And not only that, but the responsibility that we have to promote Irish within the GAA, within our communities, and the responsibility that we have to that core group of people who use Irish, who speak Irish through their games, through their clubhouses. Rud a bhí something that stood out to me through all of those videos and through our panels that when Thomas spoke to our guests was that everybody mentioned in one way or another culture, rud a cheas amach. And again, it shows the way that the GAA stands out in relation to other sporting organisations, that we have our score, that we have our culture and our language. The same structure is in place with Oifigeach Gaeilge, Oifigeach Culture that is in place with our other positions within the organisation. We have this ladder structure in place that allows clubs and counties to avail of support on the way up. And then we have the ladder going back down that allows Cushon Nash and Gaeilge, our Irish Language Committee in Croke Park, to disseminate and to distribute resources on the way down, making use of our officers, making use of our volunteers, and making sure that that line of communication is there, that line of communication is always live for our officers. Of course, as with most things within community development and community outreach, there's very little that we could do without the support and the collaboration that we have with other organisations within our Níl na Gaeilge, the Irish language sort of media, educational resources and groups who work with youth groups and community groups. Obviously, Forest na Gaeilge are a huge part of our role here. They fund the job that I'm in and they help us sort of create connections with their educational groups, with the groups that are in charge of reaching out to young people, with the groups that are in charge of the Irish medium schools within the 6 counties of the north. And of course, the relationship we have with the Irish language media, BBC Gaeilge, RTE Radio na Gaeltachta, Radio Foghlaim and Mulfarsta, they allow us to promote Irish language and use that platform to get our initiatives out there. But they also provide Ulster GAA with a voice to discuss all affairs within the GAA, not just Irish language affairs, which is obviously extremely important because it gives Ulster GAA that platform to show to our members and to anybody who might listen into those things that Ulster GAA is committed, and the GAA in general, are committed to promoting Irish and to making sure that it is front and centre with all that we do. On the bottom side of the screen, you'll see Ulster University, which is what the emphasis of this talk today is going to be on. The relationship we have with Ulster University and the ability that we've been able to sort of garner that relationship to create this resource for our members this year. The relationship between Ulster University and Ulster GAA began with Gaeilge Chlub. You can see the main figures there. Támuid Neem Lena is staying to Scamshaw. We've 9 years of this scheme this year. Over 80 clubs represented over the lifetime of the scheme, 25 participants on average each year, and 3 teaching hubs between Belfast, Cookstown and Derry. The idea of this scheme is that Ulster GAA fund over around about 25 people per year to go and gain that proficiency in Irish, but obviously the trade-off is that they go back into their clubs. We can use that as a direct link into our clubs, and they can provide, whether it's classes, whether it's a scheme for young people, for older people, whether it's a social media campaign, that we are able to see the benefit of that funding by using those people as I say, as the direct link within to our clubhouses. We also realised during the pandemic, when we all, I suppose, had a bit of time to sit and think about where we wanted to take our roles, with the pressure of maybe travel taken off us, that there was a real opportunity here to expand on this brand and to use the backing of an institution like Ulster University to help us develop where we wanted to go within providing resources for our clubs. From that, we were able to develop the education pathway, which is what you see in front of you here. So we'll go through this in detail, but basically it's that there is some kind of structure created for our club members to continue to learn. Take them here in the Jackrotty, a wing in the Foghlaim Changa. I know personally what it feels like to try and learn a language. Coming into adulthood where there's frustrations with that, there's difficulties finding resources that you can trust and that you know are most importantly free and easy to access for everybody who wants to learn. So definitely I can empathise with how the club officers feel, especially as adults in most cases. Coming back to learn a language as an adult is an extremely brave thing to do, and it does take a lot of courage to sit in a classroom and to be usually taught by someone who's maybe younger than you. It can take a lot of sort of get up and go to get them in the room in the first place, and we don't want to lose anybody with the fear that they don't have access to the right resources to go through that sort of journey. So this is, as I say, free and easy to access. You can trust the resource. It is of a high standard, and it does create a structure to the learning and also a community for our club members, that they have goals they can set and 3 stages they can follow through. The first one is, and here came, then Scamshaw now, Phonecircle Club. So step 1 is our Phonecircle Club resource, which is obviously what I want to promote today. It's a password protected resource available on our website. It's free to any club who want to access it. All they have to do is register with me, and you'll have my details at the end of this presentation to do that. It's module-based learning, which is proven time and time again to be an effective way within language acquisition to help people learn. There's 20 units per module. We will upload 2 to 3 modules a year, again, all free to access for any club that wants to access them. And our goal for 2022 is to increase to 100 clubs. So we currently sit at 50, registering within the first sort of 7 weeks since launching. So it has been very successful. And I suppose the biggest thing here, folks, is that this stands out from any other teaching resource that I've ever seen in particular because of the support for the teacher, not just the student. So yes, there's a free download for students. They can see the lesson, they get the auditory support so that they're not sitting alone trying to work out how to pronounce words that do not in any way resemble English words, so it can be difficult. But the teacher notes, as I say, are extremely unique in that they will teach a volunteer how to deliver the lesson. They'll give them hints on how to ask questions, how to get the best out of the students, how to deliver certain bits of material that maybe they aren't quite comfortable with. And the big hope here is that this evens the playing field for clubs. Some clubs are very lucky and they have someone who will Gaeilge or a Dilaku, who has great Irish and great teaching experience and maybe has the time to create all these resources. Other clubs are not in that position. Agus near core, not mayo Gaeilge Olam. It shouldn't be then that they don't have the opportunity to learn just because they don't have that one volunteer who maybe has had a chance to go through all those educational systems and come out with an Irish that is able maybe to teach people in a room or with the confidence to do that. So hopefully this will again help our volunteers. Nobody will feel that they're unable to do it. and it'll give everyone that even playing field, as I say, which is so important when it comes to access to education. The second step of our education pathway then is GAA Hersey. So this is, GAA Hersey just means an intense course. So it's a Saturday through the spring to the autumn of this year, where we will be collaborating with 3 clubs to provide 3 courses. And again, the idea is that clubs will start in their clubhouse with Foghlaim's Chlub on step 1. They'll do their 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, however many weeks they want to do. And they'll be able to say that their goal is to go to one of these courses. It's very important when you're learning a language to Foghlaim Chearra, go came an agad, go sprick an agad, that you have goals and points along that, because otherwise it's very easy just to learn a bit and to lose it. And then it's even harder to get back into it. And these courses are obviously designed to bridge the gap between the club learning stage and then Cursa de Tricia, which is our Gaeilge course in Donegal. It's maybe worth mentioning here as well, Gaeilge, that there's 1 spot left open for club collaboration here. We have 2 clubs who have come forward to take on 2 of those courses. And it's important to say as well that it's not that the clubs have to organise it. There will obviously be most of it driven from the Ulster GAA level, but just to be able to collaborate with clubs, that it gives them a chance to maybe have their members get involved or to have the class actually held in their facilities. And of course, then the last step is Cursa de Tricia, which is our Gaeilge course held in Downings every year. This course has been going for over 30 years, and usually we have about 130 people per year. Obviously, with everything else, it's taken a bit of a hit with the pandemic, but we are rebranding and relaunching this year. It will look slightly different than it used to. It's been modernized slightly, and there will be different structure in place, but the base structure, Phonecircle and Cursa Chearra, is the same successful structure that's been in place for 30 years and enticed people from all over the province to come to it. We'll have 5 classes, Bonrang, Uachtar, agus Éachtar, Manrang, Uachtar, agus Éachtar, agus Ardrang. So over 5 levels, you'll be able to jump a wee bit. If you enter in at one level and feel like it's maybe too high or too low for you, you can go higher or lower without feeling like you've gone out of your capability or below your capabilities. We have 110 places available. We'll be running evening events the whole week. So of course we'll have our score input there, our cultural input with Gaeilge, Ceolcurmaha, Tranagest, all of those different aspects of it that are so important. And it'll be held in July with discount for GAA members and students. So this is actually the first time we've published these dates. So if anybody is interested, you can put it in your diary now, because it is obviously a very busy week in Downings with it being that week in July. So my special impact, if anybody is interested in coming, keep an eye out on our social media channels, in your club secretary email box, etc., just to make sure that you don't miss out, because we are limited. And then folks, before I sign off, it's just to point out all the resources that are available from not only national GAA, from Cushion National to the Gaeilge, but also from Ulster GAA, the things that we create for our members and for our clubs, whether they're resources or campaigns that you can jump on the back of. You can take the PDFs, the imagery, the graphics, use them yourself. So we have obviously resources for our club officers to show you how to do the role. We have a Gaelic podcast, Phonecircle, that is Umlan Shrivan na Gaeilge, completely through Irish. And it's really important to point out that yes, it's vital to create resources for people who want to learn, but it's also not elitist to create resources for people who have Irish and who want to find content to listen to keep their level of Irish up, to practice it. And then below are just some examples of campaigns we've used. The one in the middle with Keeve No Cassage. We have 9 county trailers and a feature film available for clubs for free download to use at the gates of your games, at events in your clubhouse at any stage, with well-known faces from the media and from obviously all our codes for you to use within your own clubhouse in your own counties. August our Yearly and Shaw Woomsa Committee, just the last point is that National Committee, Cushion National to Gaeilge, Will Mahan, Mar Uladh. We have just published the Lav Lord R Vanity, so it's the official GAA MC's handbook. Obviously, we all know what games you hear, Uladh da, Ivra da, ta Moganye Emacht. We have all heard those Irish phrases, but sometimes people can struggle with them, especially if they've just been put into the PRO position. So this goes through all the useful phrases for social media, before, during and after games, and it has pronunciations and everything in it that should support people should they need to go through that sort of learning process to take up the different roles that obviously everybody does so willingly within GAA. Agus sinna will woomsa could be. That's mostly from me, folks. Shin somni chagwala sugum could be. There's my email address for Ulster GAA. If you need signposted to any resources, go with Jagwalum. Contact me at any stage. If you want access to Phonecircle Chlub, that online resource with Ulster University, send an email at any stage and I can register the club on the system.